A lot of people are asking, am I stupid for investing so much money in Freebird? Well, as you can see, we're not at home. I really am stranded at a mechanic shop in the desert, and fortunately they let me stay here for the night because she won't go anywhere.
911, what's your emergency?
We're waiting on parts. She'll get fixed in the next day or two, hopefully tomorrow, hopefully by the time you see this. And I'm very fortunate, like I said, that I could stay here on the grounds. It took some doing and some calls, but we were able to manage it because otherwise I'd be going to a hotel or something because Freebird won't go any further than the parking lot and so until those parts get in. So let's talk about some of the lessons learned from this. And at the end of the video, I'm going to answer the viewer questions that people are asking. Why am I spending so much money on her? Is it worth it? Why didn't I do something else? What are my other options? So let's talk. Okay, first and foremost, make sure that you have a trusted mechanic if you're going to be spending any time anywhere in an area. And if you aren't from that area and you're not going to be spending time there, use Yelp, Google reviews, whatever else you can use to check mechanics out. You guys know the story. I didn't do that. And finally, Robert helped me find a reputable mechanic. And now I have been referred to someone because the drivetrain needs some help. The differential, the U-joints, a whole bunch of stuff on the drivetrain. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. But that's the number one thing. Make sure that you have a trusted mechanic and check them out if you're new to the area or just traveling through. Okay, that's kind of a no-brainer, I know, but it needs to be mentioned. And also, it used to be that you could stay at shops a lot more than you can now. Insurance, COVID, all kinds of things make it almost impossible to find a place where you can stay overnight. So you need to have hotel funds, you need to have transportation funds, and if you break down on the side of the road, at least here in Nevada, you need to know that you can't even ride with the tow truck drivers anymore because of the virus. So it's really precarious when you're having vehicle trouble, and you need to have backup plans for that. One of the things that I love about Freebird is that she is not a computerized engine. Being older, a vintage model 1984, she's got pretty much all mechanical parts, and just about any mechanic anywhere can work on her. But that doesn't mean that parts are always going to be readily available, especially when our supply chain has been so interrupted like it is. Everybody's like, oh, you can get parts anywhere and you can have them shipped to you. Yeah, but you might have to wait on them. And if you're in a small town, you almost are certainly going to have to wait on them. And like today, what happened was the wrong part was delivered. Then they didn't have the right part in stock. Another place could get it overnight, hopefully, and we're just waiting to see. People have asked, and I get it, and I appreciate the respectful way that some people have asked, why am I putting so much money into an older model rig? Well, by the time I finish, I will have about $10,000–$12,000 into her. And she is a short body Class C fiberglass rig. I will not be upside down with $10,000 or $12,000 into her by the time I get her on the road and road ready and get all of the parts replaced, because those rigs are expensive and newer rigs aren't made as well. I've known of at least 3 people this year that their axle fell off of their rigs.
What?
And one was told just recently that the axles aren't they used to be welded and bolted on. Now they're just welded on. And so this one is a solid rig. She just has to have all of her original parts replaced. 36 years she has lasted. It's time for her to have some TLC and some maintenance. And when I get done, it'll be about $12,000, and I won't be upside down with that amount. She will be worth more than what I have put into her. And so I'm willing to do that. All vehicles eventually need repair, right? And there's no guarantee even with new vehicles. Fancy Free, my former camper van that Robert now drives, I maintained her meticulously. And just recently, sorry about that, just recently spent about $3,000 on getting all kinds of things done on her, from her transmission to the repairs that Robert did in the desert on the front end. And I've maintained her brakes and everything. And you just do that on older vehicles. We all know that. The thing is, this one still had original parts. I inherited her right when everything needed to be done, and I will be okay financially as far as what she's worth when I'm done. Like I said, she is not a lemon. I've had several mechanics now tell me that she's solid. She just needed some TLC. Now, where I lucked out is that my friends Gina and Jeff had it placed on their hearts to give me the title free and clear to Freebird. I had already given them a down payment, and I was getting ready and ready to make my monthly payments as we had agreed upon. And if I was still paying that amount of money plus the $12,000 that I'm putting into her, then absolutely I would be upside down. So always, always, always have your rig or your vehicle or your trailer checked out before you buy it by a mechanic, one that you trust. I did not do that. And had I done that and thought that I was also going to have to pay for her, this is not a deal I would have done. But we're going to be good, and I can't wait to get on the road. By the time you see this, I'll be on to my next video, and I'll be less than a week from hitting the trail, and hopefully we'll have her all set by then. Fingers crossed. And let me know if you're one of the ones that have lost your axle or had something else happen on a newer rig, because everybody thinks only older rigs give you trouble, and I know that's not true. Another viewer question that I've been getting is, why didn't I spend the $10,000 to $12,000 on a trailer or another rig or something else instead of on this one? Well, the truth is, I probably could have gotten a trailer for about $10,000, but I paid $5,000 for Fancy Free years ago, 6 years ago, and put about $3,000 into her so far in repairs. So right there, that's $8,000, and you just can't find reliable vehicles that are older for $10,000 anymore. And if you do, you're going to be putting more money into them for maintenance. So I feel like I made the right decision. A trailer, I don't want to pull anything. Now, would I go back to a van? Yes, but I am enjoying and loving Freebird. I'm enjoying being able to stand up, and I am looking forward to traveling in her and having all the creature comforts of home. And she has also been remodeled on the inside. She doesn't have the 1984 decor, so that's already a step ahead too, and Tiki did a fabulous job on that. So this is a good rig. We are about to hit the road. Bandit and I are happy. We will hang out. Let me give you a look at this parking lot again. We will hang out in this parking lot tonight. I'll go all the way around if I can keep from falling. And we'll be just fine. Okay, you guys, I'm back inside, and I wanted to address another viewer question. Everybody wants to know, does my cabin AC work? And yes, it does. Tom was able to get that fixed for me. But when I drove into town today, it was blowing through the defroster register instead of the vents. And so he came over here to the shop where I am spending the night. He and his wife, I got to meet Heather, and so that I could meet her, and he checked on that, and he just replaced a vacuum hose that had come loose. And so yes, I have cabin AC now, and while he was here, he put on my new license plates. It's far better than anything I could have done. Okay, so this is a PS. See my battery level behind me? Bud, the drivetrain mechanic, was only able to roll my RV out of the bay, and where she landed is where she landed. And it's not enough sun, clearly. What does that say, 59? And here is my freezer and my temperature, no, my freezer and my refrigerator temperature, and that keeps climbing. You can tell I'm hot. It is now 101 in the RV. And Bandit is having fun though, because there's all kinds of different signs and sounds and smells. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll tell you how we did. And we'll see you down the road, everybody. Bye.